And now, ladies and gentlemen, the star of our show, direct from the bar,
PB.
What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, here we go into December of 2025. And as usual, every year around this time, we hear the same old thing. You hear all the gurus, so to speak, out there pumping up a new rate change by the end of this year, by the beginning of next year, by the big first quarter of next year, sometime in February, sometime in March, sometime in April, when the budget is done, when the HCL is passed. You hear all this crap. And guess what? A whole new year has passed, and guess what you're hearing again? The same crap all over again. Now this time there's reason to be a little bit more excited besides all the bullshit they pump at you. There are articles in the news almost every single week about Iraq making the decision to change their exchange rate. So let's go ahead and get into this, shall we? Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. Now the issue with so-called gurus out there pumping you guys, telling you crap like, I feel like it's going to happen. In my opinion, that's cool. Saying in my opinion lets the whole world know that you're just giving your opinion, and it's not something that's written in stone. But it doesn't necessarily protect you 100% from liability. If you consistently say the rate's going to change and you throw in there, in my opinion, doesn't mean you're protected, because you're misleading your listeners by saying all this other hyphy stuff and then just throwing in at the end, but that's just my opinion. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to support what you're saying with articles, with proof, with receipts. That's very important. So just be very careful, you guys, when you're out there. So this is what I'm talking about. Especially lately, there has been a lot of articles talking about the exchange rate. This goes back to November 26th. And there's even articles before this. Pressure on the central bank to change the exchange rate in interference with its independence. So look, this is a very detailed article, and I'll encourage people to go back and read it so you can understand what's going on. I understand there's going to be some of you who will read it and not quite get what's going on. So I'm just going to cover a little bit of it so I can show you the problem that they're having. This is after the announcement of the final results of the elections, and for the political and interests of some influential people, speculators and traders who deal with illegal trade by direct transfers outside the controls of the central bank, official board reports, and the new special instructions for pre-cumbrant registration as of 12/1/2025, which guarantees control over the revenues of the customs government, which is a big problem for Iraq in the past, because when it came to custom fees, there was so much corruption in there. I don't know if you guys remember this. A couple years ago, we kept seeing videos of high-ranking officials in Iraq constantly being set up on video for corruption, and they were getting arrested. So about a week ago, the media pressures from some specialists, non-specialists, and emergency analysis who always appear in media channels with special interests and social media began with the aim of confusing the stable Iraqi markets throughout 2025 due to the wise monetary policy and the efforts exerted by the central bank in maintaining a general level of price and the inflation rate of less than 1%, controlling the money supply and building significant foreign reserves to cover the local currency in circulation and cover imports. And we saw that Iraq government and the CBI were able to actually manage this. They have very low inflation. In addition to that, they have plenty of foreign reserves. But we saw a lot of bullshit articles that were coming out too. You guys got to understand that the powers that be, a lot of the people, especially within the coordinated framework, own banks. And so devaluing their currency allows them to do illegal crap. Funneling money to Iran, selling their money in exchanges. That's why for a little while there, Iraq had a liquidity issue. They couldn't cash any checks, especially for the employees, because the money was gone. Like 90% of their money was out of Iraq, which is not good. So what ends up happening is you have to print more money. And when you print more money, it devalues your money. So I'm going to skip this paragraph and go down to this one because this one's important. We also do not forget clearly and accurately that there are organizations that works against achieving monetary stability, led and working to implement it by multiple parties linked to speculators. That's us, we're speculators. And corrupt people who have an agenda for weakening the national economy and abusing it with news and statements, spreading rumors in minor and paid economic analysts, and turning them from reassuring news to news that confuses the market and creates panic amongst the citizens. And this is already happening now, which requires clarification here for almost 10 years. So we definitely deal in the speculative market. They'll pump to make you feel of hopium, and then people rush out and they buy more of the currency off the exchanges. That affects what goes on over there in Iraq. But that's not the only thing, obviously. There are a lot of corrupt people with the agendas, like this article is talking about, of weakening the national economy and abusing it. One article, they'll hype it all up, people rush and they buy the currency. Then another one, they beat it down, saying, well, Iraq's thinking about devaluing the currency, so people want to sell the currency. So it goes back, forth, and they jump in the middle and make money somewhere in the middle. So there's this article. And of course, I don't know if you guys heard about this attack over there in Kurdistan. This is bad. You know, this is the kind of crap I'm talking about. Stay out of conflicts. So this attack over in Kurdistan, you see this? 75% of the feed gas for generation plants is out of service and complete shutdown is in. So they can't pump oil to the generator plants. And why does Iraq need generator plants? To generate electricity. And if they can't get it from here, where do they get it from? Iran. See how that works? And they pay Iran a ton of money to provide them with energy. Here's our article that came out on the 27th. Governor of the central bank, the digital currency will solve 90% of the problems of the Iraqi financial system. Of course, if it's all digital, it's easier to control and monitor than if you use paper currency. See, this is what I'm talking about. Here's where you really got to pay attention to what it is Iraq is trying to do. Now, I have spoken with people in the know, and no, I'm not going to sit there and say I have some special intel personnel like crap. I don't need to do that. Told them I was expressing curiosity of them trying to redenominate their currency, which is the continuing use of banknotes, and them quickly moving into the central bank digital currency. How is this going to work? It doesn't make sense for Iraq to spend a ton of money to make new currency, only to turn around and disregard that currency and move into the digital currency. What I was told is that the United States has approved Iraq's goal to redenominate and create new paper currency. Their goal is to run the digital currency side by side with the paper currency for a predetermined time, and then eventually they're going to do away with paper currency altogether. So the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Al-Alaq, stressed on Thursday that permanent solutions must be built in a way that closes the gap in the financial system. He explained that the tools available today, especially modern technology, provide effective solutions and fill many of these gaps. See, it's kind of hard to run a black market on money and cause a black market rate when you have digital currency. You can't just pull digital currency out of your pocket and sell it. So yeah, controlling the black market is going to be easier with the digital currency. So Al-Alaq was giving a speech at the Investment in Ages, the Roles of the Bank in Beirut. The main problem between the Iraqi treasury and the society is the use of the dollar cash inside Iraq, which is a normal social matter in Iraq society. He added, "We have worked on this issue and provided other alternatives that reduce dependence on cash. And we have developed the financial system so that the cash dollar is limited only to travelers." So you see, they're trying to do away with cash altogether. He pointed out that the traveler dollar system does not allow any attempts to circumvent, stressing that the U.S. Reserve indicated that Iraq ranks first in controlling the use of the cash dollar within the country. He pointed out that these measures reduce the use of foreign exchange by 80% and convert the majority of internal financial transactions into the Iraqi dinar. Allah concluded his speech by pointing out that work is underway to develop a digital currency which is expected to solve 90% of the financial problems in Iraq, stressing that this step requires one of the radical solutions to the financial system in the country. So yes, indeed, they are going to a central bank digital currency. And again, here we are. This is on the 29th. The debate of changing the exchange rate in Iraq, 3 factors hindering the implementation of this step. Amid growing speculation about the intention to change the exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar, which some have led to setting virtual dates and numbers, and economists identify three fundamental factors that stand in the way of the move. You see that up there? Led to the way of setting virtual dates and numbers. People guessing. People swearing up and down. It's going to happen this month. It's going to happen next month. It's going to happen before. I heard already that was going to happen in January. You guys, nobody knows the dates. Nobody knows the rates. They're all lying to you. And they are liable if they give you a date or a rate. And I don't care if they throw at the end, in my opinion. That's like when you're playing tag and you tag somebody and you go, no tag backs. What the hell is that? It's tag. The economist Manur said in a post on his social media account on Saturday, November 29th, that it is imperative to discuss the file of changing the exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar, which is widely circulating recently from scientific economics perspectives and away from populist thesis by dismantling the situation into three fundamental axes. Says that according to the indicators of monetary policy, size of foreign reserves, inflation, and cash cover, there is no urgent need to adjust the exchange rate currently, noting that the central bank as a component sectoral authority does not see justification for the step. So here you have an economist telling you that the central bank doesn't see the need to change the exchange rate. That's why I'm saying you got to be careful. Listen to what the central bank tells you. Pointing out that the crisis suffering from Iraq is a financial crisis par excellence resulting from the inflation of public spending and the scarcity of non-oil revenues, not a cash crisis. Therefore, addressing financial issues through exchange rate manipulation is only a PAMP solution that provides temporary liquidity but does not address the roots of the problem, cost and risk of the decision. Theoretically, Iraq has the ability to change the price, but ability does not mean right, according to who believes that the use of the exchange rate as a variable tool as needed to finance the deficit hits the credibility of monetary policy at the core, creates an environment that repels investment and undermines market stability, stressing that the investor and the private sector need stability in the vision, and the constant waving of price changes shakes this confidence. So yeah, he's right in the sense that if you keep changing your exchange rate, investors are going to have problems with that. Whether they're investing in stock, whether they're investing in the currency, whether they're investing in businesses, if they keep seeing the value of the dinar go up and down, there is no consistent way to keep track of the possible profits you can make. So it becomes an issue. So whatever move they make, they got to make sure that they make it and do it with confidence and leave it that way for a little while. Future foresight. The economists suggest that exchange rate remain the same for a fundamental reason, which is the absence of any real financial reform plan to restructure government spending. Now, I love how I heard people out there, they read this part and they go, no, that's not going to happen. They can't do that. And no, they can't do that. They can't do it. It's against the law, and they're going to do it in country. And you know, they can't get on the World Trade Organization, and they can't do this and they can't do that. They can't go with the exchange rate of 13. They can do whatever the hell they want. Trying to make claims that they can't keep moving forward with this low of an exchange rate is a lie. They've been doing it for 20 years. With the only slightly changing of the exchange rate up and down. So don't say they can't continue to move forward. It's bullshit. Trying to tell people that they can't be on the World Trade Organization with this type of exchange rate is false. Look at Vietnam. They're a member of the World Trade Organization, and their exchange rate is way worse than Iraqi dinar. So don't say because of this, they can't keep their exchange rate that low, because they can. Now, I'm not saying that they will. What I'm saying is the bullshit reasons that you hear out there from these other gurus is just bullshits and lies. If anything, this article points out the many factors, one way or the other, why they should or shouldn't change the exchange rate. And it's something you should pay attention to. The price change should be, if it happens, part of the comprehensive repair package, not a single action. With no consensus between financial and monetary policies on a clear bailout, there is no justification for now or in the near future. So, Iraq indeed is talking about the change of the exchange rate, the redenomination of a currency, which I've been told they have been given the green light for redenomination, although currently they have not created any new banknotes or any new dinars. Do you hear me? They have gotten the green light with support to redenominate their currency, and even though they have gotten the green light, they have not created any new dollars, not as of yet. And yes, the CBDC is coming, but they're going to run the CBDC side by side with the paper currency for a little while. For how long that is, I was not told. But it is interesting that they're going to be running them side by side. Eventually getting to a point where they are going to do away with paper cash altogether. I don't see that happening for many reasons. The Iraqi people don't trust the banks as it is. And now you're going to tell them they have to give up all their paper cash for digital currency? All hell's going to break loose. I guarantee it. So there you have it. Yes, it's exciting that the fact that they're talking about it. But just because they're talking about it doesn't give you an indication one way or the other. And even with the news that I was told about the Iraqi Dinar and the central bank digital currency running side by side is exciting as long as they don't go 100% into the central bank digital currency right at the moment. Okay? The other news that they have gotten support from the United States Federal Reserve is exciting. They can go ahead and redenominate their currency, but even though they got the green light, they have not even started printing the new currency. And I've heard that rumor out there. They are doing the lower denominations. No, listen to what I'm saying. They have not printed any new currencies at all. There is no release of the lower denominations. There is no new currency out there that's been created yet. But it is something that they plan on doing. When? We have no idea. I do believe there's going to be a lot of moves this year that's going to be surprising to everybody. Anyways, that's it for now. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm out.